Hello students, I am Mr. Bailey Yutaye from Debark University. Today we will discuss about system analysis and design, which has a course code ITX 3061. Okay, let's start from the objective. This is Module 3, Unit 1, Requirement Validation Techniques. Let's discuss about learning objectives. By the end of this unit, you will be able to, or students will be able to, one, analyze the critical role and timing of requirement validation in the project lifecycle. And the second objective here is discussing the principles and benefits of testing early and often as a validation mindset. And the third objective is apply use case scenario testing to articulate and validate functional requirements and user interactions. And the fourth objective here is reflect on a common pitfalls caused by poor requirement validation. And the last objective here is develop a plan for integrating early validation techniques into your own projects to address requirement gaps and ambiguities. Those are the objectives. So let's proceed with the introductory of this chapter. Introduction. Requirements validation is a critical phase of requirements engineering process, which makes sure that requirements are correct, consistent, complete, and accurate. Requirement validation is used in determining the right requirements. The main objectives of validation is to certify that requirement specification document is the acceptable descriptions of the system which is going to be implemented. Here is the important topic is testing early and often. Catching defects as early as possible is the least expensive way to ensure software quality. Most defects end up costing more than it would have cost to prevent them. Best practice and tools can help your team to minimize the cost of preventing and fixing defects by maintaining the quality of your project throughout its life cycle. This implies that when you are developing software for a system, you are expected to test the phases as the levels to be tested, and do not forget to revise each phase tests. You should test the phase in the case of system developments throughout the time. So your team can more accurately judge or evaluate the quality of your project at any time if you find defects and fix defects. By testing often, your team and stakeholders can remain aware of the current state of the code and make informed decisions throughout the project. Ultimately, you should be able to answer the question, can we release, and understand the implications for the people who use the software. The other important point here is use case scenario testing. To test your requirement models, you can apply use case scenario testing. It used to test domain models if it accurately reflects the aspects of the business that you are modeling. There are steps of the use case scenario testing processes. The first one is perform domain modeling, and the second one is create the use case scenarios, and the third one is assign classes to your subject matter experts, and the fourth one is describe how to act out a scenario, and the fifth one is act out the scenarios, and the sixth will be update the domain model, and the last one save the scenarios. Here is create use case scenarios. Conceptually similar to use cases. A use case describes the logic including the basic and alternative course of action for a single cohesive task. A use case scenario describes a single path of a logic through one or more use cases. When you describe a use case scenario, you want to give it a name and a short description, and then a description of the steps to take to fulfill the scenario. It helps to catch unusual scenarios. You can identify new scenarios in several ways. Consider tasks the system should and should not be able to handle. Explore business rules. Do some more brainstorming here. Acting out scenarios. It has its own steps. The first step, call out a new scenario. In the second step, determine which card should handle the responsibility. And the third step here is update the cards whenever necessary. And the fourth step here is describe the processing logic. And the fifth one is collaborate if it is necessary. Another important point here is advantages of use case scenario testing. It helps to understand the descriptions of the business logic of the system. And use case scenario testing is simple and it works also. Scenarios help to define how people interact with the system. As it has advantage, it has also disadvantages. The disadvantages, the scenario test is complex, involving many features. If the first feature is broken, the rest of the test cannot be run. Once that feature is fixed, the next broken feature blocks the test. In some companies, complex tests fail all through the project, exposing one or two new bugs at a time. Discovery of some new bugs is delayed until the scenario blocking bugs are cleared out of the way. Test each feature in isolation before testing scenarios to efficiently expose problems as soon as they appear. Scenario tests are not designed for coverage of the program. It takes exceptional care to overhaul the features or requirements in a set of scenario tests. Summary. Let's try to summarize or conclude what we have discussed in this chapter. Emphasizes the importance of requirements validation to ensure correctness, completeness, and consistency. Promotes testing early and often to detect defects early and reduce project cost and risk, and applies use case scenario testing to validate functional requirements and business logic. Highlights the steps, benefits, limitations of scenario-based testing. Aims to prevent requirement gaps, ambiguities, and costly rework in the system development. This is all about today's discussion. So if you have any comment and any difficulties, you can reach out by email using bailey.getu@dku.edu, which is shared in the online platform. Have a nice time. See you.